Hi friends, Dean here with Escape to Gaming. It's been quite a while since I've made a video. I'm still not out of the woods yet with this, COVID thing. I've got long haul symptoms, they call them. So, at my doctor's now. I'm getting ready to leave if I can get out of here. It's been a tough since July 2nd. I was coming home for a 3-day weekend. I was excited. I felt great. I lost a lot of weight. My stamina had been, gone way up from doing a lot of physical work and putting in long hours. And I have no idea to this day where I got it from. I'm very careful to stay away from other people, even at work. But I got it somehow. And I don't know if anyone at work got it. After I picked up COVID, quite a few people started getting it. I was getting it at the very early stages of the second big wave of people getting it, and then within a month or so it seemed like the surge was way up. So I don't know what happened or what variation of it I got. I have no idea. So bear with me. I have to clear my throat a lot. I have a hard time talking. My voice has been really raspy. I've tried to make this video for over a month now and I just haven't had luck, to be honest. It's been very touch and go. I have a lot of fatigue, horrible headaches. My breathing is actually better, if you can believe it, but just not where it needs to be. So I just had my disability extended to January 6th, and that's when it runs out. At that point, I'll have to get another job or go back to work at the place I'm at. The problem with the place I'm at is now they want me to, I think they want to get rid of me because now I have to take a respirator fitness test and wear a respirator, and they make you overexert yourself to see if you can do it, and there's no way I'd be able to do it. I'm going to cave on that. I'm just not going to be able to pass the test. Plus they want me to take a complete physical, which I didn't have to take to get the job, but now to hold my job I got to get it. So it's not California where you have all of these protections in place. In Idaho they can do whatever they want. That's the way it is, and I respect that. Hey, they don't want to hang on to some old guy that's struggling with COVID. So it is what it is. I'll just have to deal with it. But there's a lot of work right now. My God, there's killer deals for making a lot more money than what I made right now, managing crews for other paint companies. So I'm not too worried. My wife has been looking already, and just in case, and we've already got a shitload of things lined up. So it's not going to be easy going back to work, being out of shape and having severe fatigue. I wash one of these vehicles, takes me 90 minutes, and I'm ready to keel over. So I can hardly wait to do an 8-hour job, painting someone's big house or something. But it is what it is. I'll get through it. I'm pretty tough, and we'll figure it out in the end. But anyway, it's been the headaches have kept me from gaming, from even watching TV. I'll watch a little TV at night for half an hour or so with my wife. I've been watching these old Canon TV shows that had what's his name? William Conrad. He was a big fat guy that. In fact, he was on Jake and the Fat Man later, which I never watched those, but he's been around in old movies. He's with an old Charlton Heston movie called The Naked Prey or something a million years ago. I watched it when he was really young. He's got a really good voice. He did a lot of voiceovers for documentaries and what have you over the years. But I love his show. I've got 4 seasons of that, and he's a big fat detective that drives a Mark IV Lincoln, drives around this big Lincoln, and solving crimes around LA back when it was a much better shithole than the shithole it is today. But watching that, even that, that's like a 45-50 minute show, because there was like an hour show, and by the end of it my head is just pounding. I can't do it. Excuse me. Speeding up for a train. Try to cut over it looks like my wife's old Maxima. It's the first time I've seen a train at this train crossing. Enjoying my heated steering wheel and seats right now. It's nice. It's like 30 degrees outside, or 32. It's real cold. We had a little bit of snow a week or so ago, right before Thanksgiving, like we had last year. It was like one day of flurries. It's really pretty. And we've got the Christmas lights up, and the Christmas tree was up before Thanksgiving again. I'm going to start this vlog here in my truck, and then I've shut the radio off right now, and I'm just sitting at the light here. I've got 3,300 miles on this so far. I got to get my first oil change pretty soon. They want me to do it at 5,000. I'm going to probably do it at 3,500 miles just to get this old break-in fluid out of here. Get some fresh synthetic in here. But truck's been great. I mean, I don't drive it that much. I just take it to doctor's appointments. Also, my rotor cup went out in my left shoulder on top of everything else. I was working real hard, and right around the time I got COVID, I noticed that my shoulder went out, so I've been going to physical therapy. I got that tomorrow. That's the last session of it. I've gone for a couple months now, trying to fix my rotary cup, but it's pretty fucked. I don't think it's going to come back, which means I'm going to have to probably get an MRI and have surgery on it, you know. It's what happens when you use your body, you wear your body out for work, you know. When you get older, you got to work with less and less, it seems, over the years. But, you know, I like my trade. I've enjoyed doing, you know, blue-collar work my whole life, and I don't mind it. I enjoy it, actually. I like to see the transformation of someone's home and seeing it, you know, with new paint and how nice it looks and fixing something up. I've always liked that, whether it's cars or, you know, houses, you know, restoring things and making, you know, beautifying things, making them look good, which is important. The sun's getting to me. Sun gives me a fucking headache too, so I gotta wear some sunglasses. Let me get my glasses on real quick here. Excuse me a minute. Oh, there we go. Thank God. The sun is blinding. It gives me a horrible migraine, so I've been pulling the shades at home, and TV, I can squeeze out like one TV episode, and then my headache's so bad. My doctor gave me this stuff they give for seizure patients that have seizures that also works for headaches, but it made me wired to where I couldn't sleep at night. It worked good. I actually, my first day I took it, my headache started going away, but 150 milligram tablet, and I was wired for 2 nights straight. Like, I mean, up all night for 2 nights. You couldn't sleep for 5 minutes. And so that wasn't working for me, so I stopped taking that. So I have to live with the headaches. He gave me the meds to take, which help them, but it creates new problems, and then I get no sleep, and then the headaches are worse. It's like a vicious cycle. But gaming-wise, you know, I try to play some games. I played that Cloud City game, or what's it called, Cloud Punk game there, which I really enjoyed. That was a lot of fun. Really a chill game, very, very nice, just kind of a really mellow game to play at night. And when I had the PS4 in the master bedroom when my father-in-law was there, that was the other thing. I got my father-in-law, he's 81, and, you know, he's sick, or he wasn't feeling well. I think he just had a cold. And here I got COVID. I was afraid I was going to give it to him and keep him worse. So, I mean, I was terrified to come out of my room and then get him sick until he got his first house. He finally found a house and moved out after maybe a couple months. So it was rough. I was basically a prisoner in my fucking room. And then when he would go out on this doctor's appointments or something, I could come out of my room, thank God, and come out on the couch for a little bit with Vinny or something. But it's been rough. This COVID thing has really kicked my ass. There were a couple of weeks where I thought I was going to die. I thought that I was going to have to go to the hospital. I couldn't breathe. And I had a rescue inhaler, took it, nothing, didn't do the fucking thing. And I have a real claustrophobic issue with like drowning or suffocating to death. That's not how I want to go out. I easily would put a bullet in my fucking head before doing that. And I was not digging it at all. Fuck. I'm trying to get through this fucking traffic. Wasn't digging it at all. And my wife says, you got to go to the ER right now. And I said, I can't. If I go in there, they're going to put one of those fucking ventilators on and I'm done. And I don't want to die in a hospital alone. I don't want to do it. So we had a huge fight and I stayed there. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't refuse to go. And I don't know how, but I made it through the night. I have an oxygen machine, but even with that on and the rescue inhaler, I couldn't breathe. I just couldn't breathe. There were a couple nights. I mean, this COVID thing is demonic. And what's sad is that some of my fellow patients, which I got used to seeing in there, they died. 3 of them died that I used to see in the waiting room. And the doctor told me, I go, what happened with, I haven't seen those guys. He said they all died. So over 3 weeks, 1 per week, they died. And all of them sat there and argued with me about taking the vaccine and how natural immunity and all this, and they're all dead. And within a week, each one would die. So, and it scared me, you know. There was another teacher my age, 58, who was a high school teacher. He got COVID. His wife took him down to the hospital that night at 1:30 a.m. He died. You know, put a ventilator on him. He's dead. So this shit kills. I mean, it doesn't fuck around, you know. And I way underestimated. I said, you know, because other people get it. Oh, it's like having a cold. You know, my friend Steve goes, oh, I was sick for 2 days. I was back at work. It's no big deal. Yeah, well, that's, you were lucky. You got a very mild case of it then, because this stuff is awful, and I'm still fucked up. I still have really high blood pressure, and it's from this fucking COVID. Freight train, 540 foot-pounds of torque. This thing fucking rails when you step on it. They've changed all this. We got this big traffic circle now that I gotta take through traffic. You gotta be real careful going around this shit. It's nice. I get to drive my truck, you know, once a week. Go to the doctors or go to physical therapy. It's the only chance I get to take this thing out and rail it. But anyway, I've got through over the hill. I'm much better now. We got this game, that definitive edition of the GTA Trilogy, which I saw the Wednesday night before it was available to download. Some were getting it. I don't know if they were in Australia or England or where, but people were playing it. I was watching streams of it. And I kept telling my friend Jeremy, dude, check this out. And I was capturing like screen captures of it, and like I couldn't believe how good it looked. And I said, I've got to get this, you know. So I went down and pre-ordered one for the Xbox One, and then I downloaded the digital ones so I could play them right now. On December 7th, the physical ones come out. Initially, I was going to pre-order the PS4 ones, but when I saw how good the gameplay was, and how much they were improved and enhanced, I jumped on it. Now, and believe me, I've seen the negative, you know, all of the people shitting on it. It's like they all love to jump on the bandwagon. Oh, this is the worst thing since Cyberpunk 2077. Let's jump on the bandwagon of hate. You know, they all jump on it to piss all over it. But I saw one bug that I had to look for. I had to find it. It was that invisible bridge bug. So I had to I loaded up San Andreas, played like a couple missions, and then I went and I stole a motorcycle. I went over the county line to where they get 4 stars instantly, outran all the fucking sheriffs and the Ford Broncos, and I found the bridge. I wish I had filmed it because it was pretty cool. You could see the bridge at first as you're approaching it, but then you get at a certain angle or certain closeness to it, and it vanishes. It's still there, but you just can't see it. And I walked out on it, and I got shot to death. I died in a wasted thing floating above the river. That's the only bug I've seen. And I downloaded it the Thursday that it was available. I have been playing the piss out of this. I probably have 10 to 12 hours in the 3 of them. Most of it is in Vice City. And I saw the one bug, and I had to look for that. To me, the character models look just fine. It's a cartoon. There were cartoons then. Yeah, the lighting looks different. Shit looks different. But the game looks a lot better. The lighting is incredible. I love the lighting and the details. You can look in like the store windows. You can go to the mall in Vice City, and it looks so much more real now. They got all this detail in the mall. It looks amazing. So I'm pulling up home right now. I'm pulling into my garage here. So I'll talk for a little while, then I'm going to take the RAN inside. Oops, shit. I'm talking. It's really tricky. I got to kind of hug the pole here. I pull my mirrors in and get real close to this fucking pole, or the side of the garage, and I open the mirrors back up to see how close I am, so you can see that in the mirror there it gets closer and closer. and then I park it. I kind of know when I'm all the way in. Then I lower it down so I can get out easy, and it's a done deal. Let me set this up here just for a minute and then shut this thing off. Still lowering. Okay, there it goes. Now shut it off. So yeah, I've had fun with the game, you know, and I've watched some of the videos and seen some of the complaints. I think people are creating bugs somehow because I've played it and haven't had a problem. In fact, Solid Rev did a couple of videos on it, or did at least 1 or 2 videos on it. And he did one of them showing that there's no bugs in this game, and he played the piss out of it. And ironically, he found one right when he saw it and pointed it out right during his video. It was a car that was like half in the ground or something, or maybe it was floating above the ground, I think, just for a few seconds. And then it was fine. But, you know, and he'd tried everything to try to create bugs, and he couldn't see any bugs. And believe me, he's very critical. He looks for shit like that. He was going to make a video, I'll rip this thing all apart, and played it, and said, Dean, it plays fine. So we've been talking back and forth. Now, he's bored with it. To him, the game is very dated. He can't get into these old games and old gameplay, even though they've enhanced a lot of it to where you've got the weapon wheel now and the radio wheel. It's easier to get the radio stations. The targeting and aiming is real. It's almost too easy now. There's the problem. The game's easy. I still play it on the classic configuration where you can play it with the somewhat classic controls, but it still targets about the same and with the auto targeting. But it's great. The game looks awesome. It really plays good. They have fixed the rain. They had a patch 1.02. And it looks good. Now, they haven't finished they didn't fix the bridge even after the patch. And some rain, I've seen rain in some videos where it does look pretty bad. But in Vice City, the rain looks awesome, you know. And I think I saw it in San Andreas, too, and it didn't look that bad. I think they did fix it somewhat. Maybe they got to fix it more. I don't know. There's going to be more patches, you know. It's unfortunate that Rockstar allocated the game to a small group of guys that do mobile games to work on it. But the work that they did looks good. I think it looks really nice. The lighting is greatly improved. The detail on the roadways, the trees, the foliage looks good. The textures in the roadway and the sidewalks, the characters look a little more simplified. If you look at like the early shots of CJ in the original PS2, he's like got squared off shoulders. Everything's like very angular. And this computer program kind of rounds off the heads and shoulders and arms, and so they still have the weird lanky look, the guy riding the bike that everyone takes at one angle. Oh, look, see his arms all distorted. That's how it was in the original. It looks exactly the same. The only difference is it's more rounded in this one, doesn't have the angular lines. So if you want to pick people apart, pick apart the original artists that did it. Now, they have changed and simplified some of the facial, like there's one Denise, one of the girlfriends, which I could care less, that, you know, looks more simplified with her face features or whatever. Yeah, they've streamlined things and changed some of the features. Some, to me, they all look good so far, and I haven't seen that one character, but it's okay. So there's 1 or 2 characters that don't look as good as they could, but it's a game. They're all cartoons. You're playing a cartoon game of mayhem. That's all it is. So to me, it's a lot of fun. I've had a blast. In fact, I've even pushed through the headaches for hours, played 2.5 hours the other night, and all of a sudden it's like, wife goes, you know, isn't your head bothering you? And I go, yeah, a little bit, but you know, I like this game so much. I'm having so much fun. I'm pushing through it. So I'll do a review of it eventually. And I'm sure that they'll patch and they'll fix some of these issues. There are a lot of issues that I saw on their list of issues, but I haven't seen the manifestation of them in the game itself. The game plays fine. I haven't seen any bugs. I haven't seen any clipping issues yet. You know, and I'm looking for it. I'll acknowledge it if I see it. I did see the one bug, and it was pretty humorous. The way I died floating on the bridge was pretty cool. I wish I had captured on film. I could probably recapture it and get another bike and try to film me. And maybe I'll do show me playing the game and show what I like about the game. But it's way over-exaggerated, the problems with this game. This is another hate man wagon. It's not near as bad as Cyberpunk 2077. You can't even compare it to that. Those games are buggy and broken. This game plays fine. The missions play fine. I watched Phil at DSP. He loves the game, raved about it. Dreamcast guy, initially, before the hate bandwagon, piled on, he did a review giving it a 9 out of 10, and I'd give it the same score. But then right afterwards, because he sees all the pressure on him, because, oh, how can you rave? How can you have fun with this game? It's shit, and everyone wants to pile on the bandwagon of hatred, because that's what the internet is now. It's just a jaded collection of assholes. And I don't want to be one of them. I'm having fun with the game. Hey, what can I say? It's fun. I could cancel my pre-order and say, this game is shit. And I did that with that 13 game. They remastered that. That I could see the gameplay itself was broken, bad. And I watched a lot of videos because I said, I could take this back right now and get my money back. Because I knew the manager, and he said, I really shouldn't do this, but I'll let you trade it in. You've been a good customer. And even though I'm new here, I've bought a lot of games, so he knows I'm a good customer. He let me trade it in. That I'm glad I did, and I have the original downloaded in my modded Xbox. In fact, I'm looking forward to playing that one because it does look good. But I have watched Phil at DSP. I've watched like 6 hours of his playthrough of San Andreas. Because I said, if anyone, he lives to find bugs and shit. He'll find bugs and shit in games that don't even have bugs. And he's not found any bugs, and he's having a ball with it. He's had a blast with it. And raves about it. And he says he did kind of an impressions thing of it and said, dude, I'm not having problems at all with the game. It's way over exaggerated. People are making way too big of a thing out of this. There's another huge UK YouTuber that I've been following for years who does a lot of gameplay. Now, he doesn't do commentary over it. He just plays the game and you watch it. But I've been watching most of his playthrough of Vice City. Not one bug or issue. And I asked him, I said specifically in one of his questions in the video, I said, and he's playing on the PS5, have you had any problems? He said a couple of minor bugs, but nothing, out of the way. He said, they'll fix them. They'll patch it. It's like it was nothing. He didn't have any issues. And Phil at DSP's been playing it on the Series X, a new, Microsoft, killer machine, and he's not had issues. Now, supposedly it has some stuttering issues and problems on the Series X, and maybe even on the Xbox One X, I've heard. I don't know. But the PS4 Pro plays smooth. I don't know what the frame rate is, but it's much better than the original game, and it looks and plays very smooth in the Vice City. But anyway, I'm going to segue here, and then I'll set up and finish filming this blog inside the garage here in my studio. All right, hi friends, back inside my pad. In fact, I had to take a little bit longer break than I'd planned. There's always chaos here at home, and so I couldn't finish the second half of this as efficiently and quickly as I wanted to right after pulling in, but it worked out. In fact, right when I came home, they had the patch 1.03 that I just came in. I was just checking some stuff on my phone. I saw that they've got a new patch, several videos talking about it, where they fixed the fog in the GTA Trilogy, a definitive edition. They fixed the fog in San Andreas. You actually have an option to toggle it in the menus. You can toggle it on or off, so you can see how it looks. That way, if you want to really see the details in the distance, you can, or you can create like a ground fog, and it looks good. It really did a good job. It's not as thick as it once was, but I think part of that was the limitations of the hardware. They can only reveal so much at a time, so things would kind of pop into view, 200, 300, 400 feet in front of you, it seemed, when you were flying on a plane or what have you. But it looks good. It really did. And the rain, too. They really toned the rain down, including the very first part of the GTA missions. In fact, I got my strategy guides here for all 3. I've been combing through, especially the Vice City one, as I'm going through all the missions and side content. And I've got the big San Andreas one, including all the extra pull-out maps. I got a big Vice City map here, which is awesome. You can pull it out, and it has all 100 hidden package locations. It's got Lance on the backside, a really nice poster of Lance that you could have framed or what have you. He's got his, the old $1,200 cell phone there. And then you've got the hidden package locations. This comes with the manual. So I bought this and pre-ordered this and the game and got it. So when you find every 10 of these you find, you'll actually get an extra weapon, an Uzi, a handgun, machine gun, eventually M16s and rocket launchers that'll be kind of floating inside your safe house. And outside of I think it's called the Versetti Mansion, whatever it is, it's in the little island in the middle. Eventually you see those outside where you park your cars, it'll be out floating all, 10 weapons or what have you. So it really behooves you to take the time to find these, and for me, that's the fun. It kind of gives you a rough idea where they are. It shows like a picture of it up hidden on a balcony. Now some of these you have to wait till you get a helicopter before you can access them, but it's really cool. That's where I love the game, is doing this in San Andreas. You had the oysters, and you had to take pictures in the San Fierro area, and then you had the tagging deals in the LA part, which is pretty cool. But anyways, I'm having a ball with this. But these games really get a lot of hate. What's funny is the first day or so they were out, everyone was loving, oh, this is great, these are so much fun, I'm having a blast. And Dreamcast guy was like the first official review from a decently good sized channel. I don't follow him that often. In fact, I don't even sub to him. I saw it in my feed. I just looked up for the hell of it. Let me look for reviews on the GTA Trilogy. And he popped right up and gave it a 9 out of 10, which I'd mentioned in my truck. But his passion and his feelings about it, even then, seeing some of the minor issues, it's fine. But everyone has taken a few tiny little things, one single angle of Denise in a restaurant, and they build a whole meme around that, and they're building all of this campaign of hate and rock stars going down the toilet and all this stuff. And it's extremely exaggerated, because when you play the game, it's like, are we talking about the same game here? Is this the one that everyone's got all these bugs? I haven't seen any bugs, like I mentioned. None. Watched over 6 to 7 hours of gameplay of Phil at DSP, and God, he's done like 29, 30 hours so far. I think he's near the end of it. And I think I watched one of his recent ones because I was just curious to see, and he finally got the jetpack, and he found a small glitch with the jetpack. He had to do it from a certain angle or something. So he finally has found, he's probably found others that I don't know of, but they're very minor. Nothing that can keep you from playing the game and having fun with it. So I loved it. I was shocked when all of a sudden it was getting bad reviews. I was putting in the comments, oh, I love this game. This is one of the best remasters I've ever seen. I meant that. The lighting, the detail, they didn't go overboard with it. Now you see these beautiful photorealistic mods that people did. Well, that's the modding community. It looks too perfect. It's not the same game. That's like a remake, like Mafia. You'd have to rebuild it from the ground up. The shooting, everything's different. Now, this game right from the beginning, this definitive edition, is meant to fail because it's too sacred. No matter what you do, one side, oh, you've changed it too much. That's not the game I remember. And so you're going to piss off someone, the modding community. I'm not big on mods. To me, I like a stock game, whatever comes stock. I went out and looked at a bunch of new trucks before I bought mine, and they had a Rebel that was in the Hydro Blue, which is one of my favorite colors. I'm like, oh my God, they've got it. They're Hydro Blue, it's Rebel. We drove way the hell to Caldwell, like 45 minutes away, and the guy put these cheesy running boards on it, and he's really just, bad rims. These would have been the last set of rims. He put like aftermarket rims on, and it ruined the truck. And he goes, oh yeah, they were adding like an extra $5,000 on top of it. I go, I'm not gonna give you more money for less. This is terrible. Don't you have the original rims? Can't you put them back? Oh no, this is the way it comes. I go, I'm not interested then. And it's the same thing with the game. Some people are purists. They like it as it is. This game, it looks and feels at a glance, you swear you're playing the original PS2 game, but with much better graphics, because your memory is that it was very real and very cool. I was 39 years old when GTA 3 came out, so I wasn't a little kid eating a bowl of Fruit Loops, watching Saturday morning cartoons, waiting to open my gift at Christmas. I was a seasoned gamer, I'd been doing it for years, so I had a very realistic view of the game then. I don't have, I've read people's reports, and to them it was like, oh, GTA San Andreas looks almost real. It's so good. It looks real to me. And back then it was pretty realistic that you could do so much from swimming underwater to parachuting and seeing that draw distance. And They played tricks with it, and they hit a lot of limitations very well. I got to hand it to Rockstar. They really are masters. When you see how good the Red Dead, what was it? The second Red Dead Redemption was, and how photorealistic, and they got the horse nuts, and when it gets cold they contract and all that stuff. I mean, they can take those details too far. So, and considering that, I'm glad that they didn't go nuts and tried, they should have made it to where he could swim in GTA 3 and Vice City. It's not the same game. They're not supposed to swim. That would change the whole dynamics of it. That means you could reach hidden packages earlier that you have to take a helicopter or boat to, which you can't do until later. And I mean, it would literally change dynamics of the game and the way you play it, the weapons you can get early and everything. It really would change it. The game is very carefully planned. Even the hidden packages, they allow you to get some of the lighter weapons that you can only get at that stage of the game. To get the harder weapons, you have to unlock those hidden packages and the other one. It's very well thought out. So any advantage that you suddenly give someone is going to be a problem. So to me, it's doomed right from the get-go. If they overdo it and make like a perfect Mafia type reboot and redo the whole game, kind of like the Wolfenstein, did years ago from Machine Games on the, I guess the New Order, I mean, that really was like a reboot of it, even going back from Return to Castle. But I think that what they did was fine. They improved the lighting, the graphics, the road surface actually has some detail to it when you get up close. It still looks cartoony, and I like that. I don't want it to be hyper-realistic. They try to make the characters look as good as they could with what they had back then, and it was admirable, the work that they did on the PS2. Each one of them had little tweaks that, they had like a wobbly heat wave thing going on very gradually on San Andreas, which is kind of similar to Los Angeles when it's 103 degrees out and hot as hell, and all that heat's coming up from the pavement, the asphalt, and the concrete. You'll see those heat waves everywhere. Very carefully done, and GTA 3 definitely had a lot of grays and blues and deep tones. So there's some artistic elements that have certainly changed, but what you're getting is a new version of an old game. It still feels very much the same. It looks very much the same. Now, I think they removed, for whatever reason, the little floating newspapers and paper cups and stuff that was scattered around parts of GTA 3, which gave it a real filthy New York, which is really a shithole. It was then and it is now, with trash, blowing in the wind and all that. That kind of gave it a realistic feel and look to it. I think that they could tweak that. They could put a few of those little details in. But again, these are nitpicks. I mean, I think the game is fine the way it is. If they can fix the bugs and this new patch, apparently this 1.03, fixed all of the misspellings, where they had transposed, when the pizza and the burger place in the mall, like, oh my God, you see in the mall. It looks so good. You walk through and there's like little store windows you can look through. There's big kiosk out in the middle with jewelry. I mean, things that were never in the original that really adds to the immersion. At a glance, you'd swear you're playing the exact same PS2 game. But there's subtle improvements, they're tastefully done, without adding too much and without taking away too much. They have the weapon wheel. I mean, I was driving naturally without thinking about it. Now, when you go back and try to do the PS2 games, you got to use one of the X and triangle buttons to accelerate and one to slow down. And I mean, your hands look like a complete contortionist trying to do drive-bys. It's really tricky. I mean, and I was a master at it. I did very good and did beautiful power slides around every curb without hitting anybody. You see a lot of people play the game. My God, they can't even go 2 blocks without smashing into poles and cars head on. There's a lot of terrible, even reviewers that review the game or do a terrible job driving. So the game is very user-friendly. And just today with the new patch now, they don't have that big bright white outline around your targets. Now you can have that on or off. They give you the option. You're turning that on and off. I'm trying the classic target style where it kind of magnetically clicks to whichever target you're more or less aiming at. Similar to the other ones, but without the big brackets that go around the person. They at least took those out so it doesn't look as bulky and as video gamey, I guess, as you'd say. But that was nice. They gave you the option. You can leave the white target. At first I thought it looked good when I was watching gameplays, people streaming it, playing it. But now that I've done it, it kind of takes you out of the immersion. You get this bright white, chalk line around someone when you're chasing after him to shoot him. So You know, you can turn that on and off. You can turn the fog on and off on San Andreas. They have depth of field effects and things, and you can tweak on the game, and bloom and light effects and all that. It's very cool. The gamma, you know, I had to brighten it up like 1 notch. I found that with the car radios were a little too quiet for me, so I went into the audio and just bumped them up a notch compared to where everything else is. Perfect. Just 1 notch was all it needed, and they sound great. So you miss a couple of Ozzy Bark at the Moon. There's a couple songs that I like. I don't care. Most of the songs that they had on there that, you know, that were removed were from stations I wasn't a big fan of. So to me, I only lost, literally, I can count on like one hand the songs that I would have liked to have had in between San Andreas and Vice City. But anyway, it's quite good. What I'll do is I'll make another video soon. I'll show some gameplay of it, and as I'm actually playing the game, I'll point out things as I'm driving around, showing you what I like and why I think it's a really good remaster, and I really do. I think it was pushed out by Take-Two too fast. They leaned on Rockstar. They had to get it out before the holidays for enough time for people to get it. In fact, they just pushed back the physical date. Now, instead of waiting until December 7th, which I got a deposit on the Xbox One physical version of that, and I'm going to pick it up on the 17th. Not the end of the world. Maybe they needed more time. Maybe they're going to try to fix the physical game. It's probably printed by now, but they're waiting to do patches first, or they're going to maybe print them out with some of these updates already on the disc. I don't know. It'd be nice if the disc came out with everything on it. Naturally, you know it's not going to be that way, because God knows this thing could have another 4 or 5 patches, you know. But again, no one was promised anything. Rockstar one day go, hey, we're going to do this definitive edition. Cool, huh? And they showed a few screenshots. That was enough for me. I was fine with it. I said, if it even looks remotely close to the other ones, and I had already bought the mobile versions that had been upscaled for the PlayStation 4 or whatever. I've had 3 of those for, God, a couple of years now. And all I played is Vice City. I never even tried the other 2, San Andreas. And I got Manhunt and Bully and Red Dead Revolver, a lot of those PlayStation 2 games that I really enjoyed back in the day. But I think it's a great game. So if you're sitting on the fence and, oh, I was going to get it, but I mean, apparently it's all fucked up and bugs, it looks terrible. It doesn't. It's been grossly exaggerated. This is one of the worst hatchet jobs I've ever seen on a game that really doesn't deserve it. You know, each game there's motives, like Duke Nukem Forever. Some of the gameplay wasn't as good as it could have been. Some of the visuals looked good, some of them didn't. But I think political correctness was really the biggest thing right from the get-go. They did not like the tone of the game, and they had it out for it because of a lot of the fairly liberal game reviewers that review the games. They don't care for things that are old school boomer type stuff, and I mean, it's understandable. It's a new generation. They like what they like, you know. I don't expect everyone to like the kind of games that I like, and I certainly don't like a lot of the Kenya God of Spirits, whatever that little girl. But you know what's funny is that I think it's Kenya, something like that, came out a couple months ago. The week that came out, 2 other games came out with female protagonists. 3 games of female protagonists right off the get-go. It's just amazing to me. It's not a coincidence anymore. We're getting the odds of you getting a kind of a macho alpha male type game from the get-go is very rare. You probably get it from a AA game dev, to be honest. Those days are gone. I haven't seen one game for the PS5 yet that it warrants me even getting one, not one. The only one that's not out yet is a Destroy All Humans 2, which will only be on the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Yeah, so I'll have to get one. I'll probably get the Series X first, because I do like the backwards compatibility. They just added another 76 games. Some of them I really like, and I'm glad they added them. So to me, it's a great deal. I like the PlayStation 5, but my God, you can't get the fucking things. I'm not going to sit online and wait for the perfect time. Pretty soon I'll be back to working. I'm not going to have time to fuck around with it. And I don't want to buy one now or I'm out of work. I just really have to make every dollar count. So and I'll do some pickups videos soon. I don't want to do it just yet because I got so many. This video would be an hour and a half long, so I'll do that in a separate video soon. I've been slowly collecting a lot of really good games, a few holy grails along the way, and some gifts as well, which I'll be happy to show soon. And I have played a couple other games I've slowly played, but it wasn't until I got these that I got excited to where I could sit and play for more than 45 minutes or an hour. I've got awful headaches. In fact, they've got a new medication. Have to go down to my pharmacy and get it tomorrow morning, which I can take at nighttime. It makes you somewhat groggy, so you can't take it at work, but it will radically help with the headaches without keeping you up all night. The other one I took, I was up wired for 2 nights straight from one tablet. So I'm anxious to try it. My God, if that helps at night, I could play 3, 4, 5 hours of Vice City each night, which would be awesome. So it's going in the right direction. This COVID thing has been terrible. I'll give you just a rough, little rundown of what happened. I got it on July 2nd. Excuse me, my throat's just shot. And I had weird symptoms. I woke up and, like 1:30 in the morning and I couldn't breathe. I felt like my trachea was like closed up. I don't know what was going on. I thought maybe I had an allergic reaction to some paint that I shot earlier that day or whatever. And I couldn't figure it out. It's right in the middle of the summer. It's like 106 degrees out. It's not like I'm getting a cold or anything in the middle of the summer. Excuse me, and I couldn't figure it out. Wife goes, you probably get sunstroke, because for 2 days I had been outside painting out in direct sun for hours straight. I was really, red, sunburned, and I was really looking forward to those 3 days off. So that wasn't to be. I spent it bedridden, for 3 days, took a 4th day off. I had one floating, vacation sick day left, which I took that Tuesday off and went back that Wednesday. And I tried to go to work, and I worked for about 30 to 40 minutes. And I told them, this is like 4 in the morning, and it's nice and cool, not too hot, so it wasn't because I was getting heat stroke. But my trachea closed up, and my lungs shut down, and I couldn't breathe, and I thought I was having a heart attack. I dropped to my knees, and my supervisor came around the corner. Dean, is everything okay? And I go, no, I'm all right. I don't know if something's wrong. I don't feel good at all. He said, you look really bad. You're sweating really bad. It's not even hot. Why are you sweating so much? I go, I don't know. I don't feel well at all. He said, just go to the ER. Because I told him the day before that I'm really feeling sick. I don't know what it is. He says, believe me, you don't have to come in. Andrew and I will finish this thing today. Don't worry about it. If you don't feel well, go home. So I called my wife, walking out to the truck and to the parking lot. I felt really sick. I felt like I was going to croak. I had chest pains. She says, go to ER. Don't fuck around. Go straight to St. Luke's ER. So I did. I raced to ER, 80 miles an hour, pull in there. The broad at the counter goes, why are you so sweaty? Is there something wrong? And I go, I don't know. I can't breathe. I've got chest pains. Well, if you get chest pains, we got to get you in there now. There was a waiting room with maybe 3, 4 people, so they were waiting for God knows what, but they took me right in. They checked my blood pressure at the counter first. They had a mobile blood pressure machine, wheeled it right up on a little stand, checked it out, and it was 186 over 107. That's like heart attack, stroke, material. And she says, sir, we got to take you in right now. You have to get a hook the EKG up and make sure everything's okay. So, they shaved down some patches in my chest and put the things on, checked my EKG, and my blood oxygen level was like down to 82, 83, really low. It's supposed to be like in the 90s, mid-90s, and it was like in the 80s. So they wouldn't let me home. They said, we can't let you out of here until we figure out what's going on with you. And they asked me about my symptoms, and I said, yeah, I felt fine. I woke up in the middle of the night a couple days ago and couldn't breathe, and really bad sweats, and I had like a chills, like I was freezing to death, even though it was hotter than hell. And I'm putting up, 5 inches of blankets over me, and I'm free. My wife says, it's hot as hell in here. What are you doing with blankets on? I go, I'm freezing. I'm shaking. It's like shaking uncontrollably, and we had these horrible chills, and those kind of came and went over a few days. It was just weird. I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. The last thing in the world I would have thought of was COVID. I thought, well, that's something that's long gone. People don't even get that anymore, Because around here, we don't see very many cases of it. Not until I got it. Then I was kind of the beginning salvo of a lot of people getting it, and it ramped up with each passing week after I got it. Because when I went to the ER, the beds were empty. They weren't full like they were a month later. And so they asked me, have you had a COVID test? And have you been vaccinated? I said, well, neither. Yeah, I've never had a COVID test. I have no need to. I don't mess around with that stuff. I'm sure I don't have it. And, well, sir, we'd have to check. We'd like to do a test. So they shoved that thing up to your brain and twirl it around. They went up, and 10 minutes later, I got a call down to my room, and they did chest x-rays right when the call came down, and they said, yeah, you have COVID. And right away, the nurses and the doctor like go out in the hallway. They're talking to me from the hallway, and I go, oh God, you know. I felt like a leper. I'm like, fuck, these guys aren't even going anywhere near me. He said, sir, it's very contagious. You got to really be careful with this. And we've had a lot of people we've lost in this hospital, you know, last year because of COVID. And does your wife know? Does she have it? I go, I don't know. I mean, maybe, hopefully she doesn't have it. I mean, I don't know. So I gave them my wife's contact information. They contacted her and asked her some questions, and they kept me there for 5 hours until my blood oxygen levels went up, and they barely were like 90, 91. They let me home after that, once around the 80s. So they said, there's nothing we can do for you here. You have COVID symptoms, but we have to let them develop. If they get worse and you can't breathe, please come back to ER, and then we'll take it from there. Well, of course, that means they put a ventilator on you. They might start you off in an oxygen tent and put you on a ventilator. Now, just before this, I had done a video talking about that. I alluded to that I had some health issues. Well, those health issues were, I have the sleep apnea thing. Kind of like Metal Jesus, ironically, had the same thing. Right when I discovered I had it, I saw his video where he had it. Oh God, what is everyone getting this all of a sudden? And so I wasn't breathing. And the doctor says, if you go 5 minutes throughout the course of a night without breathing, we're going to put a little sleep test. We want you to wear this for 3 nights when you go to bed. Don't take it off. And they check your blood oxygen, put a thing on your finger. It's a couple of electrodes. You put a little thing under your nose. They check your oxygen and your breathing. And a little pocket thing that kind of tracks it all and records it somehow, whatever. And you turn that in, and then they, you know, get the information out of it, and they can see where you're at with it. Really dehydrated. So I took this test, and the doctor goes, you have the worst sleep apnea I've ever seen by far. You have a very severe case. I go, well, what do you mean? What's severe? What's going on? They go, we'll put it this way. If you go 5 minutes throughout a whole evening without breathing, then you instantly qualify. Your insurance will pay for an oxygen machine or a CPAP machine. We already determined when I later doing some of these tests that I couldn't handle the jet fighter mask where it controls your breathing. I couldn't do it. I tried it for 3 nights, and I couldn't do it, unfortunately. So the other option was what they call a passive option, which is they put like an oxygen thing. You see those little clear tubes that goes under your nose in the hospital. I have to wear one of those each night, and it's an oxygen machine that you hear it pumping. You hear it pumping like a heart almost. And it gets just the right amount of oxygen. It syncs it with your breathing somehow. I don't know how it does it. And it's just enough to where you can breathe. Unfortunately, it can't force air down through the restricted passageways, which are creating that sleep apnea, which a CPAP machine would take care of. If you can't wear one, you can't wear one. I'm very claustrophobic and terrified of like choking or suffocating, you know. Drowning, all of that. It's my biggest fear is not being able to breathe, because I had that as a kid. Twice when I was a little kid in the 60s, I had to go into an oxygen tent. The air was so thin in Maine, you know, it'd be like 72 below chill factors, and twice I got pneumonia, and both times I was like a week, 5 days in a hospital, the Maine Medical Center in Portland, Maine, you know, in an oxygen tent. And the second time I tore myself out of it. I freaked out. I couldn't handle it anymore. Ripped the IVs out. The nurses were pissed. Literally tore a hole in it and just got out, opened the window up, and tried to breathe out, get some fresh air out the window when I was a little kid. And so from then on, I've had a real bad claustrophobia. So anyway, the doctor goes, we've seen patients go 5, 6, 7 minutes without air. You went 217 minutes in the course of one night without breathing. I don't even know how you're still alive. That's like, you literally could go into a coma. They had counted that I was, and this thing monitors how often you go, you know, without breathing. My wife said, oh, I've counted you, you know, 10, 12 seconds many times. The machine counted up to 34 seconds without breathing at a time. Now, I've held my breath underwater for like 30 seconds in a swimming pool, and, you know, I can do about a half a minute, that's about it. So that's like, I mean, that's like brain dead. I couldn't understand why I couldn't remember anything for several months. I couldn't remember shit, the names of my favorite movies and who directed them. The video game, I bought my friend Jeremy and I have been on, these, a spree getting these strategy guides. And I bought 4 guides that I had just bought, like the year before. I mean, I usually remember every single game I have, when I bought it, how much I paid, every guide. I know I don't even need a list because I've got a good memory, or I thought I had one until now. So it's coming back now that I have a machine. My memory is not quite as fucked up as it was, but it was really bad. And the doctor said, he said, you probably are going to die in your sleep. It's just a matter of time. You're going to have a stroke. It's going to trigger a stroke, and you're probably going to die, So my wife is just freaked out. She's just obsessed with, every minute I can't sleep, she's up. Are you okay? You're making that noise again. She said, you make a noise like you're dying, when you're trying to breathe. So I wear this passive thing. So I already was like compromised bad before COVID. Then COVID hits, and that just like takes a shovel to what's left of, I'm finished. And it's, what was terrifying is that when I see my doctor quite often, because I'm looking for answers, we're doing different tests and blood work, and they got me qualified for this, it's like they change your blood, or it's an infusion where they hook you up to a machine for like an hour and 15 minutes, and they put in fresh blood, or they put in a cocktail that's like what Trump had when he got it, and that's why you get over it so fast. And it keeps you from dying. If you get it soon enough, I had to wait 7 days. I got it when I tested for it. I had to wait till the following Sunday to get it. So I should have got it earlier, but they had a list of people that were waiting ahead of me, so I had to wait, until it was my turn. So thank God I got that. That kept it from getting worse. But there were a couple of times where I mentioned when I was early in my truck, I couldn't breathe at all. I thought that was it, My wife says, we got to take you to ER right now. Your face doesn't look good. You look terrible. I got to take you in. I said, if I go in there, I'm not getting out. And I don't want to do it. I do not want to go in a ventilator. I'll die at home before I'll die there. Because they won't let your family come in, nothing. So this has just been a horrible, horrible nightmare. Just without sleeping, and then now I'm worried. There goes my new job. I was just doing so good. I was trying to get a promotion, get a raise, and everything just went right down the toilet, all because of these fucking, Chinese communists that are fucking around in a biolab. We don't know whether it was intentionally, released to the world or it was an accident. Either way, they're responsible, and they have fucked my life up. By the end of this month of December, that's over $12,000 that I've lost in wages. That's not even counting what I would have made in overtime, probably another $2,000 or $3,000 in overtime. So we're talking 12 to 15 grand this fucking COVID has cost me. Now, thank God I got 60% of my pay, it's a short-term disability, but after January 6th, that's it. I can't get any more. So I'm getting a little bit better with my breathing. My lungs aren't great, but I can breathe and I can walk, through Costco without falling down now. I first tried to do it with my wife, and I couldn't make it through the end of Costco to go across the back of the store and back. I was like dropping to my knees. I couldn't breathe. So now I can do that without, having to stop and rest. So it's been pretty bad. I got to change the battery pack. My battery pack's about to go. Sorry about that. My battery was flashing. Hopefully I didn't lose anything. So anyway, I was talking about getting the infusion, which seemed to help. And it kept it from getting worse. But the headaches and fatigue are still there, really bad. The fatigue has gotten slightly better, but the headaches have been every single day. Like, think of like the worst vodka hangover you've ever had. And that's what it's like every single day. The minute I get up, they're bad. But by the afternoon, evening, I'm just rubbing my head, and I just, my wife says, well, God, what's the matter? I can't watch TV. I can't, anything bright light, anything just makes it worse. It's like someone's got some channel locks on both your eyeballs and they're just squeezing down on them. It's horrible. It's fucking headaches from the shit. So I got the breathing thing is much better, thank God. The fatigue, because I've been getting some exercise, taking walks with my wife and going out in the neighborhood afternoons and taking walks, but not as much as I should. But I can't get on my exercise bike. I get on that for 4 minutes. I'm ready to fucking keel over. So I gotta get, in better shape because I'm gonna have to go back to work, and I probably won't be able to go back to my company. They're gonna make me take, like I mentioned before, respirator tests. There's no way in hell. I already saw my doctor Monday. He goes, yeah, you're not gonna be able to pass that. Do you think they can give you something else to do? I said, no, they hired me to do the paint in a booth wearing a suit and wearing that mask. If I can't do that, I can't work. So now my job is fucked, you know. Now, it's not the end of the world, because right now, with everyone out of work, I've never seen so many jobs. I got like my pick of the litter, you know, which is nice. So I just got to make sure I could do it physically. So I'm going to have to really push myself like never before. It's going to be hard. We tried a bunch of stuff. I kept testing positive for COVID for several weeks. The doctor thought that was unusual. Usually you'll have it for a week and a half and then you'll test negative, but it's like it's hanging on with you. So I was really discouraged, which you could tell in my tone of my community post. I was just very despondent and very depressed. I mean, really, this has been really tough. And tough on my wife. And, you know, here she's trying to be worrying about her father who's in really bad health at 81. And he's barely able to stand and walk, literally. He's so feeble and weak and frail right now. So she's worried about him, and her mother is trying to get her mother settled and moved in. So she's just stressed out, maxed out. You know, luckily because of COVID, she's working from home, so she has the free time to check on me and run down and get meds for me if I can't get them or whatever. So the doctor finally said, "Look, I'm going to try something," and I didn't know what it was. And it was that ivermectin stuff, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's this parasite medicine. And yes, they give it to horses in theory, but they've been giving it to people for years, and they have a medical prescription that you get it from a doctor, not from a veterinarian. So it's the stuff that they give horses is completely different. It's like the same in the same realm, but it's a different strength, and it's just different. So I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was a thing. A lot of people can't get it. They want to get it, and the doctors won't give it to them. So my doctor's pretty cool. He's a retired Air Force veteran, you know, but he was a medic in the Air Force. Nice, clean-cut, conservative guy, but he wants to, you know, he'll do whatever it takes to get you on your feet. And he's lost a few patients. 3 patients that I know of that I've seen in the waiting room are all dead. And some of them were younger than I was. Some of them weren't even as overweight as I am. And I'm like, and it fucks with your head. When you see someone and then a week later you go to and then you don't see him, and all of a sudden the guy, oh yeah, he's gone, he's dead. He's dead? He looked like he was in good health. He didn't look that bad to me. Well, yeah, he got worse. He went to the hospital. He was in there 2 nights. He's dead. My dentist, I just had some work done. He told me just 3 weeks prior, his dad got it, came down with it, next week dead. My realtor, who's one of my only friends here in town, someone I'm good friends with in town now, and his dad got it and he died, you know, and he's got it twice, my friend the realtor. So this shit is like, it's dangerous. It's nothing to fuck with. You know, if you're young, in theory, it won't hurt you or it won't kill you, but it already has taken a lot of 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 21-year-olds. So we don't know enough about it. My doctor told me that, but he said, anyway, I'm going to give you this experimental drug that's had some positive case studies in India where they really really tried it out. And I go, I'll take it. I'll do anything. I don't want to die, you know. So I took this stuff, and it was really rough. You could feel like a war going on inside you. I don't know what it was, but it was like, kind of like reminds me of taking steroids. It's real strong. You know, couldn't sleep for like a week, but it kicked its ass. It got in there, and it did enough to kick it. And I finally tested negative after like 5 or 6 weeks. I'm like, thank God, you know. So now I'm not contagious. Now I can come out, you know, in the rest of the house and hug my wife and stuff like that. You don't know what this does to you, just on an emotional level. It's when you see your family like afraid of you and it won't go near you, and it really fucks with your head. It's just an awful, awful thing that these Chinese guys, this Communist Party, fucked around with. Whether this Fauci was involved, and apparently they funded a lot of this shit. I mean, there's a lot of shit coming to light. If all you have to do is open your eyes, do a little reading, you'd be surprised at how long this tapeworm goes. But this is something that they've known about for some time. And we lost the president that we had that got cheated out of his presidency because of COVID. Oh, now we can do mail-in ballots. And so people have exploited this for their own political gain, sadly. And I'm furious about that, furious of what is done to me, to my friends, to my family, to this COVID. And now my nephew has it, but he got over it pretty quickly, like in a week, less than a week. But now they want him to take a vaccine, and he may quit he's got a great career ahead of him. I said, dude, just think about that. Don't be so hasty to make an idealistic stand. So I'm not going to tell people what to do with the vaccine. That's up to each person's going to figure it out. But all I know is that initially it was Trump's thing. When he was going to take it, the vice president said, I ain't going to take that. If Trump pushes that, I ain't taking it. And you shouldn't either. And it's funny, now that they have it and they have power, now they're using it for political gain. They're just totally using it to exploit our rights and everything. It's an awful thing. This goes into so many deep pockets and holes. It's a horrible thing. I'm just very thankful to be alive. I can't tell you how much I love being with my cat. I love being with my wife. I love just playing these old, simple games. I'm so happy just that I'm still here to do this. Because when you see people that are there 1 minute and they're gone the next, they might as well have died in a car crash. I mean, it's so sudden. And you don't have a chance to make amends with people. That's why before this even happened, before I even got COVID, I'm glad I did. I reached out to my parents and my sister, different ones, and some of them I'd kind of kept in touch, but not on the greatest terms, and it still isn't on the greatest terms, to be honest, but at least I know that I did the right thing. I've extended an olive branch out, in the name of peace. I don't want any problems. I just want to get through life and just live a life and get up and be alive, that I can go to work another day and enjoy a video game and have fun again, and get rid of these goddamn migraines, which are, like I said, it's like a vodka hangover, a splitting, the worst headache you've ever had every single day. You can't shake it. And that fucks with your head. That fucks with your moods, and the light, right now, just so you can see me, I have to put all these lights on in here. This is way too bright for me, but, it is what it is. I just want to make a video and let everyone know. I've had so many people just today. Someone in one of my last videos, hey, does anyone know what happened to this dude? He was here and he's gone. I'm worried about him, Well, not everyone sees my community post on, YouTube. If they knew to look, they would know that I give little updates on there every 3 weeks or 6 weeks or whatever it is. But anyway, guys, that's what's happened with me. And it's been a long story, and it's taken forever, and I still feel like shit, but I'm here, and I can at least talk somewhat, and my voice is very rough. But that's as good as I can do right now. It's very rough. My trachea is closed up. I can barely swallow food. It's horrible. This stuff is like permanently done shit to my organs and my body, and it's like I can't reverse it. And if you research COVID long haulers, there's many people. Laura's joined a Facebook group because she's still on Facebook where I'm not. And she said, oh my God, there's people who have been 9 months, year and a half, they're still suffering with this, just like you, You may never get over this. I mean, and that's a reality I got to deal with. I got to try to work a tough job and push through the massive fatigue like you can't even imagine. It's horrible. It's awful. Don't ever wish this on anyone. And have empathy and compassion for those that have this. Don't look at it as just a pure political thing. This is a horrible mess that we're in. And who knows if it's ever going to be better. I don't know. I just want to get on the other side of this, and, I'm terrified. I mean, things will start picking up, and then I'll get another case of it. This time I'm done, So my immunity system is fucked. We just got our blood work back, and it's not good. My wife goes, no wonder why you got COVID in the first place. She probably had it, and her body fought it. She's got a really good immune system, but she takes lots of vitamins and magnesium and all this shit. She's got me medical-grade vitamins. I'm taking high doses of vitamin C, vitamin D, 2,000 milligrams a day of just vitamin D alone. Magnesium, the best vitamins. Very expensive, but I'm doing everything I can. I've got to lose some weight. I'm put on more weight. I made such great progress losing weight, 3 pant sizes. I felt great. My stamina was up. I felt like things were really coming around for me. And then this thing just knocked, like someone took an aluminum baseball bat and just fucking used your head as a home run. And it's just been downhill ever since. So I'm going to get through it, though, one way or another. It's all going to come around. So anyway, I just want to give you this update, get this off I'm dying to talk about this. It's just a nightmare I want to wake up from. And I am waking up, and like I said, I'm just thankful that I still have my friends around me, my family, and, little Vinny, my cat, and I'm happy my in-laws are settled and everyone's settled, and, we got our Christmas lights up and the Christmas tree up, and And I just want to just make it through Christmas. I'm just like living for the week. I'm living like one day at a time, and if I make it through that, it's a good deal, you know. And I'll loosely plan my future as best I can, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard work, but I'm going to determine to get back on top again and beat this one way or another if I can. So be careful, guys. Do what you can to stay away from this shit, you know. Research the vaccine and see if it's something that would work for you and your family. Each person has to decide for themselves. I'm not going to tell anyone what to do. It's not a political thing. It's just use every tool at your disposal that's out there to try to protect your family and yourself from getting this awful, awful thing. Because it's like a lotto, like rolling the dice. It may kill you. It may fuck you up permanently, like me. You may be over it in a couple of days, like my friend Steve. I mean, everyone's different. You know, Steve could get it again, and then that's it. He's done. Within 7 days, he's on a ventilator and he's dead. I mean, you just don't know. It's really freaky. So, but anyway, I'll be back soon, guys. I'll make some more videos, a little bit more uplifting than this. I'm sorry it's such a downer subject, but I had to vent and get it off and talk to you guys and let you know what's going on. Yes, I'm gaming, and things are definitely moving up. Thanks to these shitty definitive edition games everyone's spitting on. These actually have made me smile and laugh more than anything. I've had so much fun, you know, playing around in those worlds again. It just means so much to me to revisit these old little open worlds and all of the hundreds of hours I put into them years ago, and the smiles that I got, and closeness with my friends, taking turns playing it. You know, it was so much fun doing rampages and shit. It was just a blast. Flying the dodo places it's not supposed to go, and I mean, just everything you can think of to fuck the game up. But anyway, having a good time. I'll be back soon. I'm going to be doing a video response to a good friend of mine has a channel, and I'll be talking about him soon, about a top 10 favorite Xbox 360 games of all time, which I'm really excited about. And then I'm also going to be doing a pickups video. I'll show you with all the new shit that I've got. I haven't got a lot, but I picked up some holy grails and some really nice stuff along the way, and some really wonderful gifts too. So thanks, guys. Have a wonderful, you know, Christmas holiday. You know, Thanksgiving's behind us now, but make the best of it. Make up with people you've had beefs with. You know, try to put aside political differences with your friends and family, and just really try to have a nice Christmas this year, and be thankful. Most of all, be thankful for what you have, for your health, for those in your life that are meaningful to you. Don't take them for granted. Please count your blessings, and really, you'll find that your life, not just gaming, but your life in general, will be much more positive, and you'll get a lot more out of life, especially through these difficult times that many of us are going through, whether it's financially or, you know, with the sickness or what have you. So I love you guys. I think the world of all the support and help you've given me has just means so much. It's really been wonderful, and many of you know who you are that have reached out and sent me late night text or weekend, you know, phone calls, whatever it is. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much, and enjoy your life, and I'll be back soon with some more videos. God bless.